Well, hello. And I don't think you can see me because I've left the overlay on. Well, we are off to a good start. Let me just quickly remove that so you can see our gorgeous faces because that's what you're all obviously here for. You can tell it's been a while since I've done one of these. You can't see him, but Andy's backstage with me. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. It's probably a good thing. Just keep this on instead of seeing us at 1
Yeah, should we
a.m.
just keep that there? Yeah, maybe you're right. I thought about you, mate. I'm way too vain for that. Hi, everyone. Do bear with us. Where the bloody hell is it? How on earth do I get rid of it? Ha! I can't believe this has happened. Hang on. Well, hang on a minute. Oh, right then, guys. Don't worry, we'll be with you in a minute.
Good thing is you can hear our voices as we
Yeah,
start. So it's an audio only at the moment. But how's everyone
yeah.
doing? Let us know in the comments. How are you doing tonight?
I'm glad you're here to save it while I'm just faffing around.
That's all right. So we're here for the SmackDown watch along tonight, guys. Big SmackDown promised. Sam at the moment is trying to figure out how to get rid of the overlay. So you will be able to see us eventually when it happens. But to kick things off, we are going straight into it. And here he is.
Oh wow, there's
Um,
me. Well, that's the
and
AEW
apparently,
one. We don't want
and
that.
we're on Raw and Dynamite at the same time. Now it's SmackDown and Dynamite, even better.
Right, let's us. There we go. And there we are. We're normal size again as well. Sorry about that, guys. That's it's been a while since I've led one of these. Normally, I have the gorgeous Dan Hargreaves who does everything before me. But if I make a mistake, I never make it a second time. That's for damn sure. So, but yeah, that's all me being tired, I'm afraid, guys. But we did everything beforehand. But here we are. There we go. Let's have that one. Go away, AEW. I'll get rid of you. We might just keep AEW here. The way this is going on. There we are. Right, but while we work on getting rid of AEW, we are like this is a hell of an episode, Andy. I've been really excited by this. Like we're already on with AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Edge in a match on TV for free. Like how just talk to me about that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, when Edge said he was going to return, would have been looking forward to a match like even just Edge versus AJ Styles, but throwing Rey Mysterio in the mix is, it just adds another layer to it. And the fact this is on a random SmackDown post WrestleMania, then we're in for a treat. And this is just the first match, so one of these men is going to be wrestling again and facing the winner of Austin Theory or Bobby Lashley or Sheamus to see who's going to have the honor of fighting Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Who's your money on?
After seeing the promo that he cut yesterday, that just randomly again on Twitter, I think the favourite's got to be Edge. He did a great job within 2 or 3 minutes of just reminding everyone of why he is that damn good on the microphone. So, yeah, I'm going with Edge.
So Edge. So then we'd have Edge versus Rollins. Now, again, I'm not going to lie, guys. I cannot get rid of that AEW thing for the life of me. But we are watching SmackDown. You know, I've been through every overlay and I can't get rid of it. So we might just have to stick with that for now, unless Dan spots us and comes to our rescue. But I'm not the technical guy. I'm the writing and the talking guy. I'm afraid I will never be the technical guy, and I take some kind of pride in that. This is the part where everybody says "Okay, boomer" in the comments.
Might be
But
worth putting the one with the SmackDown symbol in the top right that I think you had on there,
yeah,
just for now, anyway.
that's true. That's true. Let's quickly do that because that's the one we've got. But for some reason, we cannot remove the AEW one. I have no idea why, but here we are. If there's an option to remove all overlays, I'd probably do that, but it doesn't appear to exist. So yeah. So Dan, I think we're going to need you on every stream indefinitely forever. So unless Ant or Dom spots this and you know how to turn that off, that'd be great if you wouldn't mind, lads. But until then, I'm leaving it there because well, we haven't got a choice. So it is what it is. So Edge, you think Edge is winning? Because I'm see, I don't know if I want to see that him versus Rollins again. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that story was told.
I think if it's just a one-off, it's fine. But bearing in mind that I guess if Edge were to win, then it would become a potentially a feud going on. But there's a lot of things that seem to be aligning for Edge. Like he's kind of talking about finishing his run, and actually going out on his own terms, and probably wanting to do it in Canada. And I think from what I read post SummerSlam, there is a Toronto show. So it does seem to be aligning that that's possible. But yeah, it's an interesting one. And but hey, just enjoy it while it happens, I guess, because this is already shaping up to be a decent match.
So we've got if Edge is winning this one, and because it's a really weird one because it's Rey Mysterio has just gone into the Hall of Fame. There's many years left on AJ Styles in terms of like he's been WWE champion, but there's still, I'd argue, out of the three guys in the ring right now, he's the one with the most longevity going forward. Like he could have that big title run again. Where Mysterio's just gone in the Hall of Fame, he could be gone anytime. He's clearly gearing up for some kind of retirement like Edge is. So if I'm booking this and if I'm thinking of longevity and people I can put this belt on and hit the ground running with, I'm looking at AJ Styles to win this, But it's hard to because all three of them seem fairly evenly matched in terms of their status now. But I think if I had to, in terms of who would suit the belt from a world heavyweight champion point of view, and who might be the biggest star in that capacity, I am going with Edge. I think it's a weird one, but then again, is anyone bigger than Rey Mysterio? Like he's just enormous right now in terms of his popularity.
Yeah, he seems to be getting a sort of, I don't know if you can even call it a second wind at this point. It's his third or fourth, fifth, whatever. But I don't know. AJ Styles is. I'm pretty sure he said once his contract's up, he's planning on retiring. So even he's not that far away. I read that the average age of who's involved in this tournament is 42. There's a lot of the guys who are involved in it are actually in their 40s and some of them late 40s or even early 50s. I can't remember how old Edge is. But Ray and Sheamus, and obviously that paints its own story, really. And by the way, we are in a commercial break at the moment, so there's not anything going on. But as we went to the break, we saw a cool sort of triple threat spot where Ray went to slide out the ring, was caught by Edge on the outside into a sort of DDT position, and AJ Styles and slid into Edge, who then ended up being DDT, Rey Mysterio. Very strange to kind of try and call that without you seeing it, but if you're watching it, you'll know what I mean.
I'm just gonna sorry, Andy. I'm just gonna respond to Ant in the comment. Hi, Ant. I'm glad you're still awake. Yeah, mate. I'm gonna need someone to come into the back end and fix that. That's what she said, because I'm pressing all those buttons and it ain't doing shit. So I do need a hand on this one from somebody with more technical skill than I will ever have. I don't do technical things. I just don't do them. I pay other people to do them, or I give up and cry. That is how it works with that. But sorry, Andy, you were mid flow.
No, I was just going to say, I think when you have that many people, and obviously an average age of 42, I would say that's suggesting that they're wanting an experienced pair of hands to be the first champion here. Probably similar to how AEW went with Chris Jericho. You know what you're going to get. Like if you put someone like that in, someone with a lot of experience. I don't think there's anyone in here, maybe not Austin Theory, but again, his inclusion was a bit strange in the first place. But having a steady pair of hands, someone who's been there before, is a great way to start things off and add a little bit of prestige straight away.
Yeah. Oh, Anthony Nayland is here in the back end. I won't make any more back end jokes, folks. I promise. I've made too many, and I noticed we didn't do an intro, but oh, look at that. So this is bizarre. So you've changed it to the SmackDown one, mate, but we've still got the upper SmackDown one. So we've got two. Oh, there's Raw. See, I told you I wasn't making it up. It's gone foobar. See, look at that. So yeah, right. So it's not just me. It's the it's whatever. It's there you go. We got rid of it. So the issue I had, Adam, is that there didn't seem to be any option to get rid of that top one. It just did not exist, and so my dummy got spat out. But anyway, there you go. I don't do tech stuff. I will, Oh, Sassy's telling me what she's had for dinner. This is always a highlight of my evening, Andy. It's a reoccurring gimmick that Sassy and I have. So dinner, mac and cheese with bacon, Jack Daniel's jalapeno pepper. Oh my God, that sounds incredible. And right, and we're back on. So I think you're right, because it's that Jericho comparison, Andy. I was thinking that too, but it just always seems so safe. Like, I liked it when Finn Balor won the Universal Championship that time, because it just felt like, I know he was a big star back then, and they had high hopes for him, which they've somewhat achieved. But I don't know. Edge just feels like I can't they build a star? But it's like you said, the average age is 42. Apparently not. You know.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to call. I think I would have been happier if they sort of peppered in a few up and comers. It wouldn't have surprised me if they'd thrown in one or two of the NXT call ups, like we were talking about before, like a Grayson Waller or someone like that would have been cool to have been included straight off the bat. But definitely paints a picture, as I say, about what kind of person they're wanting to hold this title.
I've just seen the banner. It's just you Plonker, and save the day. Woo! If it is, fair enough. My gimmick is I will always make one technical mistake. I have no idea what happened there. You know, we were nice and ready to go, and then that went all effed up. So you know what? I'm still blaming the system. A bad workman blames his tools, and I'm blaming my tools, because I'm absolutely a bad workman. But there we are. So looking at the other match that we've got to do tonight as well, Andy. Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. Now, Theory's already got a belt, and it's a pretty prestigious one. It's the United States Championship. So he doesn't really need the rub. But I'm looking at Sheamus on there. I think Sheamus's quest for the IC title is a bigger deal for me than this. Lashley, though, my money's on Lashley. Like Lashley versus Rollins at Saudi Arabia. Now I'm all over that.
Seems strange though, as you say. Theory seems to be the outlier, because if Theory's in there, why wasn't someone like Gunther included? Because obviously it's not a thing if you have a belt. So, and he's by far and away the youngest. So I'd argue there must be a reason why they put Theory in there. So it wouldn't shock me to see Theory versus potentially Edge in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I get you. I think the main reason Gunther's not on there is my chair really annoying, because Dom gets really annoyed by my chair. Anyway, is it that bad? Yeah, because Gunther is currently on his honeymoon. So that's what's going on there. That's probably why he's not in this. Otherwise, you've got to think he would be, because I think the champions, like the IC champ and the United States champ, should really be the first people included in many ways, or none of them should be. And why is Roman Reigns not included? Like, we already know he's got his eyes on it, because Paul Heyman hinted that he did. So it is a bit inconsistent. I would have preferred them to have some kind of qualifier. It does seem a little bit rushed. But yeah, I can't argue with all the talent either. Everybody involved is awesome, I think, anyway. Don't know about yourself.
This has been a great match so far. It's for three guys who are, pushing, I think, 45 or over 45 in this match. It's been quite a fast-paced match.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like I can't believe they're giving this away on TV. In all honesty, this is some this is a pay-per-view quality match with the 3 guys in there, But I love it when they do stuff like this. They should do it more. But again, it's because we're so conditioned, aren't we, by pay-per-view matches to be to be not pay-per-view, but TV matches to have 2 ad breaks in them, to not have a proper finish, and to have some kind of BS, as Jim Cornette calls it, afterbirth, afterwards. That is the WWE way, although it's AEW where everybody runs in at the end. But in WWE matches, we're used to believing the TV matches don't really matter, but every now and then we get an absolute stonker of a match, and I think that's what's happening here, and that's what happened on Raw this week. So that's why I've been quite hot on it, and I've enjoyed this tournament so far, or this mini tournament, as it is.
Yeah. The other reason why we probably shouldn't be shocked this is a good match so far is because AJ Styles is part of one of the best triple threats of all time with Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels, which is often it's often the one that's pointed out when you ask any wrestler or superstar, whatever you want to call them, what their favorite match of all time is. It's one that actually comes up quite regularly. So, or if they are putting a triple threat match together, it's normally the one that's referenced as, yeah, we had to watch that in prep. So having AJ Styles in the match, I can imagine they're taking a little bit from there.
I'm just going to quickly set up a poll because we're a little bit late with this, but I want to get it on there. Here we go, guys. So we have got who wins? Who wins?
I also wonder when the last time that we saw Edge on SmackDown wrestling on like just a weekly show was.
You're right. Have we seen him since Mania? Have we actually seen him?
Not 100%, to be honest, mate.
I mean, either. I don't remember seeing him since the cage match at Mania. Like, no promo, no nothing. Like, guys in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but again, it's 1 a.m., so my memory is fallible. So, it's fallible at the best of times. But yeah, do let me know, guys, because I think we're both unsure. We're usually up on this stuff, Andy. So
that's really cool, by the way. I love Edge has done that in this triple threat. So again, for anyone potentially not watching, just watching us, in the triple threat, Edge had Rey Mysterio in, and I think it's called an educator or something. The submission move, which is like a sort of like Boston Crab style sharpshooter thing. But he positioned himself so he was looking across the ring at AJ, who's slowly getting to his feet, and he's screaming tap out to Rey. And then as AJ was getting closer, he then kind of gave up and then went after AJ instead. So it's just little things like that kind of show how good he is. Oh,
yeah, 100%. Oh,
and it's over. AJ Styles out of nowhere with the phenomenal forearm. So
I think you're a little bit ahead of me, mate, but it's all good. It's all good. You can be like the boom, AJ. See, I'm really happy with that. I think that was the right call because, like I said earlier, you got to think AJ's a safe bet. He's held the big one before, and he knows how to carry himself as a champion, be it heel or face. He's a babyface right now. A babyface needs to win this tournament if they're going to stick to the promise, which I'm not 100% they're going to do. Yeah, nice too sweet, AJ. Love it. But and again, I feel like he has the most longevity. I feel like the other two are on some beginning the process of winding down. Like Edge will turn up for an angle and will turn up for a pay-per-view match. It's great that he turned up for this. And Ray's obviously on every week. Ray's such a workhorse. But I think AJ's the right call. I'm really happy with that. And Sassy has just pointed out AJ versus Rollins. Like, I know we've seen it before, but my God, that's gonna be. We just know that's gonna be good because both of those men are impervious to a bad match. Mostly. I want to just say a big shout out to one of our founders, Anthony Nayland, for getting out of bed to come and help me with the banner. And you must be used to it by now, mate. But thank you very much. I do appreciate that, and so does everybody else. Me faffing about. Oh, and I touched plans for a start as well. It was all exciting, and then I had technical issues. But there we go. But anyway, thank you. We're having a bit of a thing about Sami Zayn beating the Usos. So second, who have you got for the second one, Andy? I've got Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it's thrown me a little bit, that, to be honest. Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Lashley's would be a good option to go with. So I don't think Sheamus is where he's in his career is kind of in the right place to go for it. But Lashley, I think, would be a great person to have it, at least in the final. But yeah, potentially. And also, it feels a bit strange if they have AJ go over because he's been put onto SmackDown with the rest of the club. So it feels strange because if he was then to move across on his own to SmackDown, like it just feels a bit clunky, or even clunkier than people were already a little bit annoyed about.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Getting a recap about the Usos here, mate. With Solo. Oh, looking at his thumb, I didn't clock that when that first happened. That was a bit on the nose, wasn't it? Lucky nobody actually took that on the nose.
Yeah, all the throat.
Yeah, are they going to swerve us with this, Andy? What's going on with Solo Sikoa? Talk me through. If you not so much fantasy booking, but what you think is going to happen rather than what you want to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of noise on Twitter and the rest of social media that we could see Roman say, "I'm going to go get the tag titles back," and him and Solo tag. But as someone else, as I've seen pointed out, Sami can't do the Night of Champions because of his religion. It's certainly he just can't go across to Saudi, which is fully understandable for many reasons. So unless it happens before or after, I don't see where they do that. So I'm not sure that's accurate, but I think this is going to be the biggest split that we'll see so far in the bloodline. I think it'd just be a long promo tonight, but I can see the seeds being sown that Roman's going to ask Solo to do his bidding on the Usos for disappointing him, basically.
It's going to make Christmas awkward, isn't it? Though, if you get your cousin to attack his two brothers, I mean, Christmas dinner is going to be an absolute nightmare in the Anoa'i household this year if Roman does that. So, but yeah, so I've since WrestleMania, it's been all about this bloodline stuff for me, and how it's going to fall apart, and I'd like the pay-per-view was great. Like we watched Backlash together, didn't we? I think it was you, me, Dan, Dom, and Kinney. It was great. It was absolutely awesome. I don't think we've ever had 5 of us before.
I think I'd gone by that match, but yeah.
Oh yes, you had.
On that night, it was an interesting match. And to be quite honest, I can see why some people are loving it, and I can see why some people are growing a bit tiresome of it because it is stretching a little bit, and it doesn't seem to have the same heat as it did back in the Royal Rumble and building into WrestleMania. And a few things have kind of cooled down on it. Like even Sami and KO feel a bit more cooled off. So then they need to start a fire, and I think bringing Roman back in tonight is a smart move because you can't stretch this out anymore. I mean, he's had a good long break there. What with 13th of May, he's been off for a month and a week or so.
Yep.
So, and getting paid handsomely to be off, I'd imagine as well.
There we go. Sorry, one moment.
We're on an
so I'm just reading messages from Ant. Apologies. There you go. If I was to ever share the contents of that that WhatsApp group, my lord. But anyway, yeah. So I think now that Sami Zayn isn't, he's now outside the tent peeing in, and it doesn't quite. We all knew it'd come to that, but it doesn't have the same level of heat or tension because every week when Sami was within the bloodline, slowly turning babyface, we we had, it was the tension. You could cut it with a knife every single week. And, Hassan, you are right to correct me. Let me go and sort that out now because I'm a little bit slow tonight because I got off to a dodgy start again. But anyway, here we are. It doesn't matter. It's
just while you're doing that, I'm just having a look at the comments and see Catriana. Looks like she's doing. They're doing some fantasy booking, almost like a Forbidden Door. Omega versus Roman versus Moxley versus AJ versus Seth. That's a hell of a match lined up there, but sadly one I don't think we'll ever see.
Yeah, Catriana's actually a dude. That's
sorry, dude.
No, it's all right. It's Catriana's grandma's name. Is what we learnt a couple of weeks ago. But
okay.
yeah, so there we are. So henceforth, you can call me Lily, which was my grandmother's name, or Rita. I'm joking. Please continue to call me Sam.
Only on a Friday night, mate.
Oh yeah, well exactly. When I'm not doing this, you don't know where I'm going next. But Lily is coming out to play, and
I'm sure she would have done in her day, mate, on a Friday night.
Yeah, you have no idea, mate. Flipping, they were Scottish, so they knew how to party, drink all night, and sleep all day. They loved it. But yeah, we only lost her a few months ago, actually, my grandma. But yeah, she's Scottish heritage, but she was a Geordie, so she knew how to throw back drinks when it came to it.
So from my way.
Yeah, actually quite close. I've actually got my sister actually lives up your way. She lives just outside Hexham, somewhere called Concert. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's
yeah, Concert. It's not too far away from Newcastle and Northumberland, up in God's country.
I love. Isn't that what the Yorkshire people say? Isn't that what Dom and the Hull guys have to say? God's country.
Yorkshire, it's a funny place. Like I know the podcast's got the name of Hull in it, but I think even a lot of people in Yorkshire try and expel Hull out of Yorkshire. They don't want it to be part of it. I'm sure they want it to be its own thing.
If any of the boys are watching, any of the boys are watching. Dom gets more Yorkshire the more animated he gets, doesn't he? Which is quite funny. The accent gets thicker the more animated he gets.
Yeah, it gets even better when he's saying things that that are very American, like trying to say "mummy." Was it you who said "mummy" the other day?
It was me who said "mummy" with a U.
Doesn't translate very well.
Doesn't, does it? No. It's like me wearing these snapback hats. I keep getting laughed at by my friends and family, but I don't care because it's got Gimme a whole year on it. So right, let's do your vote, shall we, Hassan? Let's do that vote. So let's first see who won the last vote. Let's see if you guys were right or if you were all wrong. Oh, right. AJ and Edge were 50-50 on that poll, and Rey Mysterio got 0 of the vote. So none of you had any faith in Ray. What are you going to do? So now we have got... It's interesting, Andy. They're starting with the 2 big matches first. I feel like we're only half an hour into this show, and they've already here we are, second big match, second tournament match.
Yeah, but I guess Raw has 3 hours, so they can split it up a little bit more. But whereas SmackDown only has 2 hours, and they've still got to fit in the same amount of matches in the tournament, they've got to put their foot to the floor a little bit. So I guess we have these 2 matches, and whoever it is who gets through can have a little bit of a break while we have the other matches of the night.
That's a good point.
I love it when they have like multiple matches in a night because I was a big advocate for the old King of the Ring pay-per-views that they used to have, where it was all played out in one night, and you'd have the quarters, the semis, and the finals in one go. And like the one that really sticks out to me is the one where Rikishi got absolutely battered in I think it was the quarters and semis, and he had like big bruise on his legs and stuff, and got through to the final. But I think he got beaten in the final because he just had taken too much punishment.
Yeah, there's Theory. I'm gonna call it Austin Theory because I'm terrified that they're going to take his first name off him again. Like every time, do you know what I mean? Every time they say Riddle with Matt Riddle, every time they just go Riddle, which is perfectly normal to refer to a wrestler by the second name. Every single time they do that, I panic and I worry that they've taken the Matt off him again. You know, but since Vince has kind of reinserted himself at the top, although they haven't done anything like that. He doesn't seem to have done any of the stupid decisions. This is funny that Lashley and Sheamus are just battering Theory together.
Yeah, Theory instantly jumping out the ring was such a heel move, but then them just going instantly after it was even better. So
yeah, no, that was good. It was good booking because that is what you'd do, wouldn't it? You'd batter this little turd, and then you'd handle it together, wouldn't you? So is Lashley a babyface currently? Is that right?
I guess, or
It's
a
hard to
tweener
know.
at the very least.
Yeah, because even when Lashley's a face, because he did that advertising promo with Big E on Raw, and he was very all smiley, happy Lashley. But
Oh, the
Lashley,
DraftKings thing.
yeah, just Lashley turns so often. It's hard to keep he's not at Big Show levels of ridiculous, of ridiculousness, but he's not far off. They get so stuck with Lashley, they turn him left, right, and center. Here's what we need, WWE. We need a babyface Bobby Lashley, the Hurt Business back with Omos in it. That is what we need. We need a big, badass stable and make them baby faces. And let's have some warfare with the Bloodline and with Judgment Day. Let's do this. Come on. That's what I want to see.
Lashley's in great shape, by the way.
It's just it's insane. It's to the point where you realize no matter how many hours you put in the gym, you ain't never looking like that. It's like I put in the hours. I don't know what he does, but I think he has a lot more time in the gym.
He
And
always
a
seems to
diet.
have that rope thing that he's just constantly stretching or something. Maybe I need to get myself on those ropes because I would eventually look like Bobby Lashley.
I have faith in you, mate. I think you will. No problemo. We've got to have less trips to Denny's if we're going to do that, though, I imagine. There you go.
Well, at least
Denny's.
not as late night either.
Flipping heck, that was so funny. Where's our boy who we adopted for the night? Martin. Sorry, Martin. It's time. It's the middle of the night.
Martin's probably been clever and tucked up in bed.
Yeah, Martin, you traitor. But yeah, no, you're right. It's flipping heck. I cracked him up though when I nearly got into trouble. I nearly got into trouble at the airport doing a watch amp. But anyway, it wasn't my fault. Yeah, Sassy, I agree completely. Like, they had an awesome stable and they just got rid of it. And I don't even know why. It was just great. It was selling merch. Everybody was over and they split it up. And then they teased getting it back together, didn't do it. Then teased getting it back together again and didn't do it. What is going on? Is it that hard? Just, I don't know. Like Amos, like you've said, mate, you don't think he can wrestle. But what he is good at doing is having these exhibitions where he bashes people over the ropes a couple of times. You know, it's impressive to watch. He's never even going to be on Braun Strowman's level, to be fair. But I do think he's a lot better than Great Khali ever was. I'd
agree with that. But there's a lot of posturing and not a lot of substance behind him at the moment. He's coming off the back of 2 big losses.
Yeah.
And a kind of inclusion in a newly reformed Hurt Business. That could be actually very good for him because he can let other people do his bidding, like Shelton and Cedric could do his bidding and kind of help him win. But I don't know. It feels weird that they never, as you say, that they one, they split them up, and then 2, there's been no reconciliation at a time where there seems to be a lot of other stables and stuff going on.
Yeah. Like stables are hot right now in WWE, aren't they? They're in. They're like, look at the LWO. Look how well that's been received. It just feels like money on the table that they're leaving there. And although a few weeks ago, although it would have been a few months ago, actually, now I think I'm in. Shelton and Cedric were wearing Hurt Business t-shirts on a match on main event. So I remember thinking, I got really excited about that. I thought, oh, good, they're doing it, bloody finally. And then I read a dirt sheet story where they were like, no, we're not doing it. Not always right. But it just seems, maybe they think they've got too many factions, but sorry, that one's money. That one's great. You're going to sell some t-shirts, and it's every single one of them looks good. And you're right, it'll give Omos some people to work with, people to watch, learn, and he can basically be the monster they send. Like if they were baby faces, he can be the monster that they send out to flatten the heels when the baby faces are getting beaten up, or let's say like Lashley has to fend off Judgment Day or something. Send Omos out as an equalizer. Awesome. You know, that's what I need to do. What are people saying in the comments? Want Hurt Business to go after the tag belts. Yeah, me too, Sassy. Hurt Business could build Omos a Judgment Day with Dom. Yeah, exactly. That's a great example. Dom is never going to be a brilliant wrestler, Dominic Mysterio. He's not his dad, but his character work is since he's been a member of Judgment Day. He might have more heat than MJF. The guy is brilliant at it. That's his place in this company, is to get heat. And when should they ever turn him face again, which they will, who knows if he will have improved in the ring by then. But I think he can hang. He's not. It's like the Miz. You know, they're not naturally gifted at this, but they practice so much they become good.
I'm not sure. I'd have to pull you on that one. I think he's infinitely better in the ring than the Miz. He's just not as good on the mic. He is, like, to be fair to Dom, when you look at his in-ring work, you can tell he has been training with his dad. He's just not. It's not special, I guess. It just feels kind of like he's been taught, and it looks very by numbers. But those numbers aren't. It's not bad by any stretch. But I think he has the talent. He just needs to find maybe a few moves of his own, and we saw a lot of it at WrestleMania. In that match, he dictated the pace of that match very well. As the heel, you kind of have to be the person who dictates like how fast and slow they're going, and at what point to kind of explode into action and things. I actually thought he did that incredibly well for someone of his age and experience, and in such a big match. And I still maintain that. I don't know if you guys felt the same when you were there. That moment where he came out of the police car in the mask, like I was like, we're looking at a star. Like legitimately, that was his kind of stepping out moment. And part of that was the presentation, or a lot of that was the presentation. But I thought he looked incredible that night, and he just needs to keep going in that direction.
Part of me found that entrance a little bit eye-rolly, but then I realised it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. And you're right, like, that when that music hit, and he's got that mask on. Yeah, I got goosebumps on the back of my neck. There was something great about it. And because I used to think once Rey Mysterio retires from this business, Dom will fizzle out and disappear. And now I don't think that at all. Now I realize he has a future in this industry without his dad. But I still hold, because we thought we might see a retirement match where he takes Rey's mask. But I think that's another WrestleMania away. If they did a rematch maybe next year and that sort of thing happened, that would actually be pretty good storytelling, actually. But they need to keep them apart, I think. They can't keep having them bump and bump, because they need to separate them for a bit and then bring them back together around the Royal Rumble season.
Yeah, I actually see there's more of a chance of a sort of reconciliation where either Rey saves Dom, from the rest of the Judgment Day at some point, or vice versa, and then they'll build it into that moment where people are invested, like we saw with like Sammy and stopping KO, etc. And they've got a chance at some point to do that storyline. But on this triple threat that we're seeing at the moment, we've finally seen Austin Theory kind of get some leverage, and he's on top at the moment.
That was nuts. That kick he just did to Sheamus was nuts, to the side of Sheamus's head.
Oh, that sort of, it's like a drop kick, but he gets so much height on it. It's like a rolling drop kick, isn't it?
He is incredible. Like Dominic Mysterio. I do think, I know Sassy's gonna slap me for saying this, but I honestly do think Austin Theory is the future. I see people like Dom, Theory, Matt Riddle. When there are no more AJ Styles, or when there are no more Finn Balor's, or people aren't, or Roman Reigns is. I think those are the guys who'll be headlining Mania. I really do. I think they're the next generation of headliners. They've all got a long way to go, but I see it. I see it happening. Just to go back as well, actually, on the Miz. See, I don't think Miz gets enough credit. Obviously, he's a great talker and he's great at being a sniveling heel on the mic. But there's a lot of he's not natural, but I'm not sure. Cody Rhodes always feels that natural. I like the Miz. I feel both Miz and Cody are both quite stilted, but also do a lot of smoke and mirrors to make things flow. I honestly feel like that, but I think Miz does that as well as anyone. I for years spent time pointing and giggling at Miz like everybody did and questioning why he's here, but I don't do that anymore. I don't know if I've just got a bit older, or because he's one of my wife's favorites. She loves him. So much so she shouts at baby faces when they're beating him up and goes, "Leave him alone." It's like he's the bad guy. but anyway, yeah.
The thing is, I wouldn't ever want my comments before to be misconstrued that I don't have respect for the Miz, because quite frankly, it baffles me when people say, "Oh, they're signing for WWE. That good luck feuding with the Miz," or he'll become the new Miz. So when people say that, what they're actually saying is, you're going to go against someone who's a 2-time Grand Slam winner, on TV every week. They always have TV time. He's got his own talk show. He's got a smoking hot wife. He's got, a great family. He's, he doesn't even need to be in any kind of big feud to then suddenly become a number one contender for a world title. It's just because he's the Miz. He's headlined WrestleMania. What part of that are you supposed to be offended by?
And also comes across like a genuinely decent guy who, is just grateful to be where he is, and hasn't forgotten that he is this Cleveland kid done good. And I kind of, yeah, you're right.
Bobby Lashley is pouring blood.
He is. God, it's WWE's getting moxified. Sassy, you liking this? Misfit's here. I am Misfit. You all right, mate? Misfit says, did a picture turn Asuka heel on SmackDown. Talks
there we go.
WrestleMania rematch. Bianca. Yeah, do you know what, Misfit? Do it.
Sorry to interrupt you. Bobby Lashley's just won. Sheamus came in to try and split them up with a brogue kick and hit Theory. Lashley tossed Sheamus out and got the victory. But he is pouring with blood. I think presumably he got thrown into the steel steps earlier on in the match, quite viciously by Theory. I think that's when it happened.
I think it gave the match a real edge. It gave it some.
It also makes this match against AJ Styles later in the night interesting now, because Lashley, is carrying an injury. So that's cool. Sorry, I interrupted you reading Misfits.
No, mate, it's all right. I read it. We're all good. Lashley versus AJ for the main event of this show. Sign me the hell up for that. Sign me up. I love both guys. That's awesome. This show has been great so far.
Some TNA stuff,
Yeah, that was cracking. I was so into that, and I miss old school TNA. I love Impact. I watch it religiously. I watched it in between our streams, actually, this week's, because I love. I just love it. But I tell you what, now, right? So if Seth, Lashley, or AJ were to win, I'd be happy with all three of them. I can't So Misfit says AJ versus Seth is the way to go. Now, that does sound awesome. I've got no problem with that. But because it's the heavyweight championship, and I know we've discussed that means nothing, but it does to me as a fan. So I think he's the least likely. I think you're right. I think AJ and Seth are going to clinch it. But I personally want Lashley to get that belt because I enjoyed Lashley with a belt on him. It just looks look at the guy, he's a killer. I don't think as well AJ or Seth need the rub. We know they are massive WWE stars, where Lashley's always just feels just greatness is within reach, even when he's got a belt. And this could be the thing he needs. So for me, I kind of want Lashley to get this. But then again, Lashley's possibly facing Roman. I'm into that too. So you know what? I'm feeling it at the moment. I'm feeling everything, and that never. I'm same with AEW. I'm feeling what AEW are doing at the moment. So it's nice to be in this place where I'm looking forward to all the weekly shows again. It's nice. It's good.
Yeah, I would definitely into Lashley versus Roman. I believe that's not a match that we've seen, at least not recently.
Not recently, no.
I'm into that. That's cool. Big meaty men slapping meat there as well.
That's becoming our favourite thing to say, isn't it?
I miss Big E. I saw a YouTube video. I like watching Up Down Down, and he was on one of their recent streams. Just seeing him, it puts a smile on my face.
He is that sort of guy, and he put like if you were to meet him in real, because I've not met him in real life. I don't know if you have.
I have, and he was hilarious. Yeah. He's a genuinely nice dude as well. Really warm, really funny, and I think just wrestling in general is great when he's in it, and it's sad that he's not around at the moment. But hopefully that will change soon. We don't know. That is a great shout as well. Io Sky costing Bayley the tag titles.
Yeah,
and I would say this in air quotes by accident, like Bayley kind of did to her.
Although, would that be saying that she's still technically a heel, so she could get away with that as tit for tat, couldn't she?
She could also. That could also be a way of turning her face. Because
it seems a bit capricious, though. A bit capricious, a bit spiteful. Or am I overthinking it? I've been guilty of that before.
I don't know. Like, it's how much do you buy into heels and faces in some of the ways, anyway. So
WWE tend to be like they flip flop people, and they forget about storylines quite frequently. But they're pretty consistent. Like, what I'd say about WWE is all the heels are always great at being friends with each other. Like, the heels in WWE have better people skills than the baby faces. All the baby faces are all, I'm out for number one. Where all the heels seem to be bros. I've always thought that's daft and that's silly. Surely heels should all betray each other and stuff like that. But anyway, well, I feel like when it's AEW, the line is blurred a lot more, and sometimes it works quite nicely, and other times it falls on its arse.
Yes, Grayson Waller.
Oh, so you're about 30 seconds ahead of me. I've got Pierce on the phone. I'm just going to go for a wee, Andy. I'll be right back if you can hold the fort for me.
Yeah, no worries. So we were just seeing Adam Pearce on a phone call to someone saying how good the main event is now, and he's been interrupted by Grayson Waller, who's pitched a Grayson Waller effect, and he's been given what he wants. So Grayson Waller effect next week. We're going to see Grayson Waller on the microphone, which is a dangerous game to play, but it's also a very smart move as well. If you didn't catch it before, Sam joined me over on my channel, and we were talking about the recent NXT call-ups, and we were waxing lyrical about Grayson Waller. And as I say that, we get another call-up who's been kicking his heels for a little while, and Cameron Grimes has got a match, and he is going to be facing Baron Corbin. Unfortunately, before anyone asks, until Sam gets back, I have absolutely no way of putting any votes or any polls up. So as soon as Sam comes back, I will ask him if he can do one, if he gets here in time. But we're going to see Cameron Grimes versus Baron Corbin, which is Baron Corbin seems to be becoming one of those people who's a trusted pair of hands for anyone who does get a call up. So in the meantime, let me know who you think is going to win this one. Baron Corbin, who recently got a win in Paris I know it doesn't really count because he wasn't on TV, but he actually got a win for a change.
Cameron Grimes to the moon. I'm so excited.
Baron
This is great.
Corbin on the mic, cutting a promo just to try and intro Cameron Grimes to the live audience.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he said that he'll be able to beat Cameron Grimes in 2 minutes. So I have a feeling it could be quite a quick one. So it's over.
See, I've still got Corbin. I'm going to refresh this because you are way ahead of me. I've still got Corbin chatting crap on the mic. There we go.
He literally said, "I'm going to beat you in 2 minutes." The bell rang, and Cameron Grimes just did his stomp finish where he kind of aggressively jumps up and just got the 3 count straight away.
Oh, the cave in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Grimes now going to the moon, and I'm walking backstage triumphantly. Grimes looks ripped. It looks like he's been working out a lot.
Yeah, I think he's put some bulk on, hasn't he?
Yeah, he looks good. Looks good because he was like in Impact. Part of his gimmick was he was a bit unkempt and just this hairy slob. That was kind of his gimmick. He was the Carolina caveman, and it suited him quite nicely. And I agree with Sassy here when she says Cameron and Waller are future WrestleMania headliners. Yeah, them two as well, 100%. Like Andy and I were talking on your stream earlier, mate, weren't we? We were saying, this guy is, Waller especially could be their WWE's MJF. He could be. There's so much. And weren't you saying he's in the top 5 heels already? And he's not. He's only just had a segment.
Yeah, PW Insider are saying that they have it listed internally that he's on the top 5 heels. By the way, is Cameron? Do we mean Carmelo? Is that who we mean there, or do you mean Cameron Grimes?
Oh, presumably Cameron Grimes is who I've been talking about.
I mean, I would love to see Cameron Grimes headline WrestleMania, but I think if you're looking at the stars of NXT, I think Waller's definitely got a shout. I think Carmelo Hayes, who obviously is NXT champion at the moment, he's definitely got a shout. Bron Breakker would probably be another one that has an opportunity, but is currently putting some good work in as a heel on WrestleMania and getting a little bit of an edge to himself. So it's no massive shock to see those guys not called up because, as Sam pointed out on my stream, I think you have to leave some people down in NXT, otherwise it would be last one out, turn the lights off.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an exodus, hasn't it? I haven't watched it this week yet. I will tomorrow, but I'm interested to watch it in the next few weeks.
It is good.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
There's a few hard hitting matches like back to back. So if you like kind of fast paced, hard hitting action, then NXT seem to be out to prove a point that they even mentioned it a couple of times, saying like it's time for people to step up. So there's a couple of people that you don't really get a chance to see. And what are we? 1 hour through, we're halfway through, and this is Roman coming out.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I honestly thought they were going to do the Rollins versus Lashley, and then go to this as the final segment. So they've surprised me here.
It'll be AJ versus Lashley, right?
Oh yeah, forget. Yeah, sorry, it's 2 a.m.
So the final is at Night of Champions, right?
Yes. Is it me, or is that pay-per-view shaping up to be like a really good card? Is so far.
Well, there's no reason why every pay-per-view shouldn't have a great card, because even if you don't have Roman on the card and you kind of keep a couple of the bigger guys away, you still should have a good, hungry roster that's ready to kind of fill in those gaps. And the roster is big enough at the moment before they do any kind of cutting back that every pay-per-view or premium live event, should mean something. So yeah, absolutely. But Night of Champions looks like a banger so far.
Yeah, it does. I'm excited. And the best part of it is, Andy, I won't have to stay up late to watch it. I can just mosey. I could probably even watch it from my own office and rather than my wife's, which is, by the way, folks, if you don't know that, this is I do all these streams from my wife's office. We have, we're fortunate enough to have 2 offices in this house, and mine is upstairs. But because it's on the the second floor, which in the UK basically means the third floor, it means my internet is a bit crap. So I'm down here in Jess's office, which is basically in a little annex. And that is why I'm here. Like, that's why Jess's medical books are all on that shelf and stuff. Because if you go up to, like, in my office, it's basically a glorified playroom. It's a very video game and wrestling themed room, which kind of reflects my career. So there you go. I love that, how Jess's career is all medical journals and mine is games and wrestling. Guess which one of us is the serious person in this marriage? But anyway, but yeah, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to Night of Champions. You know, I have some feelings about WWE Saudi Arabia deal, and I have a few personal issues with their regime and like political. But I can't argue with that card as a show. Like, wherever that is in the world, that's a show I would want to watch. But I also enjoyed Backlash. I thought Backlash was a very good pay-per-view.
Yes.
I thought about yourself. Yeah, I have no complaints at all, really.
Yeah, I thought Backlash was it's I always find it a little bit difficult because I think when you have lower expectations and something, you know, and then you watch it and you're kind of pleasantly surprised, maybe it's just because those expectations are low that it's easy to meet them. But then I've rewatched a lot of it and I think it actually holds up very well. Like the Io Sky versus Bianca match is incredible. I think it's one of my favorite matches of the year so far.
Yeah.
The street fight was so entertaining and well put together that even Dave Meltzer, I think I just read before, gave it 4.5 or 4 3/4 stars. So, you know, even jaded people in the industry seem to enjoy it. So yeah, and also when you've got a crowd that hot, I think it just feels like everything's important as well. So fair play to Puerto Rico because I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, what a crowd. Like, don't get me wrong, London are going to put you to shame, Puerto Rico, but you were great. You were great, but we are going to show you what rowdiness is. You ain't seen nothing yet. That many Brits, that many football hooligans in one place, in Wembley or in the O2 Arena. Forget about it. You think Cardiff was loud. Oh,
Jeez,
wait.
You turn Italian American there. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah, it's New York. But anyway, so I missed a few comments. So we got Norm is saying Rome was on Jimmy Fallon last night. He was a really funny, articulate person. He had the audience at the palm of his hand. This is amazing, actually, Norm, because Andy and I were talking about this on his stream for Wrestling Royalty earlier. We were talking about Roman used to really struggle with promos, suckering Succotash, and Cena actually ripping him a new one in the middle of the ring when he forgot his lines. When now it's almost like that never happened. Like, Roman is brilliant now, even when, and it's the less is more approach with Roman as well. It's the facial expressions, the turning of the head, the quiet. It's the silence that makes him so terrifying sometimes. And I just, he's a joy to watch. He's so entertaining. He's just brilliant. I'm ready for his title reign to come to an end eventually, as long as but I want it to be done right with good storytelling. But my God, has it been brilliant? It just has been.
Slowing his cadence down was a really good idea because it means basically he doesn't have to rush. And I mean that and everything. And also, quite frankly, we've just had an entire advert break and he still hasn't finished his entrance. I know he has been stood in the ring waiting for them to come back from commercial, but they could have just played out his normal entrance and he still wouldn't have finished anyway.
Yeah, that's classic WWE. Like, I remember I was watching Raw, actually. I was watching it with Jess. We were eating dinner and they brought out Rollins, and then they had an ad break, and then they had some kind of backstage segment with somebody, and then they did something else, and then it went back to Rollins and Balor was coming out, and she goes, "Is Rollins just stood in the ring? Is he, like, how long has he been stood there?" Visions of Big Cass that time when he had to stand there for like 10 minutes doing this. But imagine being like, because we were in the crowd. It was interesting when we were in LA and we were watching the live shows, because I watched a Raw and a SmackDown while I was there. And they did all this BS where they're like, "No, WWE Universe, it's your time to let loose and have fun," and they did all that. And I remember thinking, this is what they do when they cut into commercial, and they've got like, because I was watching the guys in the ring what they do, and they were kind of just trash talking each other, having a bit of a bad bit of banter, bouncing around the ring, greeting the crowd. So they would. It was interesting. Roman is talking, so I'll shut up.
It's all
Misfit,
right.
go back and watch it, mate.
We're in Knoxville, Tennessee, and mixed reaction, I would say, to his acknowledging.
He is good. He's bloody brilliant. Vodka time. Oh, sassy. Share. I've got no booze in the house at all at the moment. It's devastating. I should have got something today, but I didn't think of it. I was going to make some popcorn for this, Andy, before we joined, but it's probably best because crunching away on that would be annoying. And snacks is Dan's gimmick, not mine.
What would it be, sweet or salted?
Well, I'm a salted guy. See, I'm all about having a little bit of butter on it. I like sweet too, but I'm all about salted popcorn with butter.
I do like salted. I'm also love a good mixed popcorn from the cinema.
Yeah, me too. Although when I go to the cinema, it's all about the cinema nachos.
Oh yeah,
two cheese, one salsa.
2 cheese, 1 salsa. What?
Yeah, is that what you do?
My man. Yeah.
I saw the other day you were watching Guardians. What did you think about it?
Well, you can find out what I thought about it by going on Soundsphere and reading a review. But in short, I thought it was excellent.
Say, Dom, if you're watching this, I didn't know we were hiring writers to write about movies. Like, I mean, dude, if I had known that, I would have sent you. You've got my CV, Dom. No, that's awesome, mate. I'm going to get me some of that if I can. But yeah, yeah. So Sounds. While we're here, let's plug Soundsphere. So Soundsphere is obviously, guys, Dom's magazine. It started out life, and it mostly is a music magazine, but it's more of a pop culture magazine these days, and it's kicking ass and doing well. Although, as you all know, we had so much wrestling content, we had to start an entirely new website, which is the younger brother of Soundsphere, and that's what it's called. But you've all heard me plug WrestleSphere a million times, and I'm sure I'll be doing it later as well. Andy, while the tribal chief is talking, is there anything you want to plug?
Well, one thing you can see on WrestleSphere that is coming up very soon is I had the pleasure of interviewing the Death Machine that is Sami Callihan. So you'll have to check that out when it goes live. He was in great form and even ripped me a new one for a terrible intro, which put me on the back foot a little bit. But I've been lucky enough, as I said on my stream, to interview a lot of wrestlers, some of the biggest ones. I've spoken to Roman Reigns before. I've spoken to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, when he was Dean Ambrose. And I thought Sami Callihan was fantastic. Gave very thought-provoking answers, very thoughtful answers, in a very Sami Callihan way. So I'm really excited for that to get out there and on WrestleSphere. So make sure you like and subscribe to WrestleSphere as well as Gimme a Hug, yeah, like you're watching right now. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it right now.
Yes, please. Do what he says. And I'm going to do it. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. I love him. I've just watching him on Impact as well. And he had a match with Connor, formerly of the Ascension. And it was great. A really good match. Oh, what's going on here? What we're missing?
So Roman's was kind of talking around Solo and then said, we do have a problem, and it's not Sami and KO, it's your brothers. So
was I gassing and I missed it? Oh my lord. Oh, now we're having an awkward silence. At least I am on this side.
Yeah, it's awkward silence. He's letting them stew a little bit.
Oh, I like it. I love this episode. Sorry, guys. We're just wrapped. It's just Roman. innit? You know, he's just so bloody good. I'm sure Kinney's watching. But Kinney, if you're watching, you must be loving this or hating it. I can't tell which one it's going to be. These are your boys, Kinney. These are your boys. Trouble in paradise. Got Heyman.
Oh, so Roman's saying he disagreed with them trying to dedicate their tag team match to him when they've got Hall of Fame tag team in their family. And right now, Jimmy and Jay are looking very uncomfortable, like a couple of naughty school kids that have been caught doing something wrong.
See, that's just a knobbish thing to criticize them for. They were trying to get back in your good graces, and you're the one carrying the belt, Roman. So cut them some slack. I tell you what, Usos versus Roman and Solo, I'd see it, but we're not there yet. I want, like, if that was to happen now, it wouldn't be right. I want to see some heat. I want to see some build up. I want to see some action, some drama, some blood. Or I want to.
Yeah.
I don't mean blood as in literally red juice. I mean like some heat, some animosity is that's what I want to see. But we'll get there.
Roman is absolutely belittling the Usos here, demanding an apology, and he says he doesn't want to hear anything else come out of their mouths other than "I'm sorry" or "I apologize."
Yeah, because that worked out so well for you, Roman, with Sami Zayn, didn't it? That worked out so well for you. You lost the most. It was like Henry VIII executing Thomas Cromwell. You know, execute the most competent servant he had.
Yeah, ultimatums never work. I don't know when people are going to realize this.
Uh-oh.
If I were you, I wouldn't listen to all these idiots. And he's pointing at the crowd. Now he's pushing Jimmy in the chest.
Oh God. I've said it before, though, Andy. I've said before that for me, if I'm thinking like long-term storytelling, it's never been about Sami and Roman to me. Like, sure, Cody is the man probably to take the title off him. I'm fine with that. But for me, the most interesting story in all of this is Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, which we've already seen. And remember what happened at Hell in a Cell when he choked out Jimmy to make Jey tap? That, to me, is the genesis of this story. I've just seen him pushing back.
I think he slipped slightly behind again somehow. But as Sam just said, Roman's just pushed Jimmy in the face, who's now starting to get a bit annoyed. And Jey is pacing
Jimmy's
a little bit on the spot.
Jimmy's seething where I am. Super kick his head off, Jimmy.
Oh, Jey stepped in and says we apologise before Jimmy can do anything. Also, Heyman in the background is kind of like half in, half out. He doesn't want to be involved in this.
Oh, Jimmy made a move. Jey stopped. Oh, this is amazing. I'm loving this. Because you know as well, Sami Zayn would welcome the Usos back into the fold with open arms and still wants to be friends with them despite taking their titles, despite, you know, everything he, you know, getting back as a you know, becoming buds with Kevin again. You know, we know that's what Sami wants, and I think that they'll do that one day. I think they will unite Sami with the Usos again as a stable in some other form. But right now, they've got to be thinking, in kayfabe, of course, Sami's right. This guy's gone too far.
So Roman's just said, Jey said that give us one last chance and we'll get the belts, the championships back. And Roman said, yeah, they will come back to it, but he's passed the mic on to Heyman to explain. So it sounds like there's going to be a bit of a swerve here.
Like I was going to say, Misfit, we spoke about it earlier in the stream about Sami obviously not being able to go to Saudi Arabia, and Kevin obviously doesn't go for personal reasons too, which is fine. But yeah, you're right. They are going to need to do something. Like,
but they're not. Hold on a second. Heyman's just announced that at Night of Champions, KO and Sammy are going to be going against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
Well,
Interesting.
well, that's new. Have they greased some wheels, or have people been grown-ups and had a conversation? It's.
I wonder if they'll get taken out before, so that match doesn't happen or something.
I think my money's on that, mate. That's what my money's on, because we're playing with all sorts of silliness there, aren't we? And I'm not attacking any religion or anything like that. I'm attacking the drama that emerges around it all.
Roman's just said they're dedicating their title win at Night of Champions to Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans, and that's the end of the promo. So that was enthralling, and it needed to be. They're doing a great job, and the Usos are looking a mix of all the different emotions. They're looking upset, they're looking angry, frustrated. Great job.
Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, I was going to say, obviously Kevin doesn't go there primarily because Sammy doesn't go there and doesn't want to support the regime, which is the same reason Cena stopped. Like Cena didn't want to go there because he didn't want to support the regime, although he went there a couple of times. And the same with Bryan Danielson and a bunch of other people. There's a whole bunch of wrestlers that just won't go there for personal, political, or religious reasons. Malachi Black couldn't go there because he has tattoos of Lilith. Who's a very interesting figure in the mythology of certain worldviews and religions. A very controversial figure and one many people wish didn't exist, but she does. Well, in that kayfabe. Oh, here we go. Damage control.
I'm just going to jump out for a second. If you want to kick me out for a second, I'll rejoin him. I've got a baby's bottle I need to go make up for my youngest.
There we go. I'll remove you. Removed him. He's gone. Well, he's gone for now. He'll be back. So I'm a little bit behind Andy's stream. Got EO. But yeah, that was amazing. Like again, everything they do with Roman Reigns is usually pretty good. That was the drama I wanted to see. We all, I don't know about you guys, but I'm all about seeing that the bloodline cracks and the drama come from that now. More than I want to see any wrestling. I just kind of want to see the drama now. I'm kind of enjoying the soap opera nature of this thing. And, nice way to continue the story. It really, really was. And, it's getting better and better. But it's got to build to a crescendo, though, doesn't it? They can't just spin the wheels. We need build now. Like the Sami Zayn thing was good because it built and built and built and ramped up the tension until boom. And that's what they need to do here. Like if they spin the wheels like they were doing before Backlash, it could get boring again. But if every week we get something happening, something not necessarily massive, just something significant, that'd be great. And here we go. Raquel is showing us her back. I think the guys there have got new ring gear. Raquel reminds me of something. Is it the X-Men? What is it? They're channeling something there. Does anybody know? Let me know. All I've got is 90s X-Men. More of Raquel's back. Just in case you didn't know, Raquel has a back. Oh, she's put some work into that, clearly smashes it in the gym in a way that I can only dream about. Not her in the gym, me in the gym. Looking as good as she does in terms of, working out, and I wish, you know what I mean? I'm digging a hole there, aren't I? So I do think EO is going to cost them this. Like the bloodline, there's clearly cracks in damage control as well. And I'm sorry I'm yawning. It's 2:15 in the morning. But I'm pleased I've got Andy here helping me stay awake, although I am caffeinated to the nines. And Catriana's going to bed. Night, night, Catriana. I'd also like to say get well soon to Kinney, who's currently not with us this evening. You know, Kinney's not feeling very well. They were going to be joining us, but they've decided to just take the night off, and that's fine. It's completely optional, so it's all good. We will see you soon. Just happy to have Andy. Dom's having a bit of a holiday, well deserved. Is there any comments I've missed here? EO looks annoyed. Yeah, I'm liking it. Hassan, you're right, mate. We haven't had a match for some time, did we? So I've still got the Sheamus and Lashley banner on. So let's get rid of that, shall we? So damage control. I know they spell it in a funky way, but I'm just going to write it out as a normal word. Damage control versus... Oh. Versus Liv and Raquel. And I'll have a quick vote. Let's see who won the last vote. Austin Theory won it. So Bobby Lashley won the match, but Theory won the vote. God damn it, these yawns. So let's have a vote. Who wins? Control, Raquel, and Liv. All right, guys, that poll is live. Do your worst. There we go. So Misfit with the scoops. So Misfit's telling us Syria and Saudi Arabia resumed diplomatic relations and reopened embassies in Damascus and Riyadh. Happened 2 days ago. Now that could be a reason as to why. That could explain what's going on, but it depends, doesn't it, as well? If Zayn doesn't want to go. But at the same time, he might think, but the show must go on, work is work. Off I go there. Because there's every possibility the WrestleSphere might need to go out there at some point in the near future. I'm not going to say any more than that because nothing is set in stone. But Dom and I are investigating, going out there at some point in the future. We don't know when, but we're looking into it. That's about as far as we can say. Because a lot of the press, Andy's it. Because a lot of the press don't go out there. You see, a lot of the UK or American press don't go out there, so it might be something we do. But it's again, we'll give you an update about that when we've got one. Right now, we don't have one really, other than we're looking at it. Speaking of WrestleSphere, we'll also now have content produced by Andy on WrestleSphere as well. So yeah, there you go. If you want to see more Gimme a Hall Yeah personalities interviewing wrestlers and writing about it, well, here we go. That makes 3 of us now, at least.
So I'm just dancing to, I'm just vibing to Bad Bunny.
I don't. It's not for me, but it's rap, I suppose, and most rap isn't for me either. So
I've got to admit, I've listened a few times to is it Chambia, the song he came out to at Backlash, which has Ric Flair on it.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even listen to the radio, music on the radio, or watch music TV channels, so I never know what's going on and stuff like that. Like I remember I was discussing a song with a colleague, and they said to me, "Oh, he's the person in the video who's doing this with the keys," and I went, "I haven't seen the video," and they go, "How have you not seen the video?" I was like, "Well, I don't watch music channels, mate." and they couldn't get their head round that, because in their house they've always got them on TV rolling, and in this house, in these bricks and mortar, I don't know why, it's just we've never ever had a music channel on the TV. It's never happened in this house or the previous house or the previous TV. So I don't know. So that's just me showing. But this is why I don't do any music work for Soundsphere, because it's all I'd ever want to do is write about Green Day or Metallica.
Nothing else matters, mate.
Yeah. You know what? Good riddance. Off you go. That's all I've got. Sorry,
Well, hopefully by the time the stream ends, everyone's had the time of their lives.
It's the same song.
Yeah, I know, but I was running out. Become a basket case at 2:00 in the morning.
I don't know. You're causing me nothing but misery right now. But so I'm stretching for that one, and I haven't had to give anyone a warning in the comments though. But the people who cause trouble are in the minority. These are all Green Day songs, by the way. That
I know. I was trying to think if anyone is misbehaving, just be careful, because for whom the bell tolls, Sam will come for you.
Yeah,
a bit of a stretch on that one, but
it'll be blitzkrieg, frantic. Saint anger will indeed come for you.
Before we go any further down the song references that people might or might not get, as we're bouncing around from Bad Bunny to Metallica and Green Day, we have seen a couple of interesting things, by the way, since coming back from the commercial break, or ad break as we would call it in the UK. We saw the LWO talking in Spanish, and the Usos got a bit paranoid and thought that they were talking about them before Ray and his name's completely gone out of my head.
Santos
said it's not our fault that your tribal Jefe doesn't love you anymore, before they ran away. And now we've got the women's tag matches going on, and we've seen the NXT women's tag team champions backstage, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn watching on. So a bit of an introduction to them. So we are seeing a few of the faces from NXT that have been called up, have been sort of dripped in tonight.
Yeah, it's I'm liking it. I'm liking everything about this episode. I nearly cracked another joke then. You were like, we've seen some things since coming back from the break, and I nearly went, Raquel's back. Seen plenty of that. But I'm only jealous because mine doesn't look that good. As we discussed why you were making a bottle for your newborn. I was saying
I wouldn't mind, by the way, if her doing that, if her back was like ridiculously chiseled. Like there was a picture that went around. Did you see that picture that went around a few weeks ago of Bianca Belair, and her back was absolutely shredded? It's like if she's doing that, she's kind of putting you to shame a little bit. There's a bit of shade being thrown.
Look, I would say Bianca Belair, is, and I mean this in the loveliest possible way, is a freak of nature. She's an athlete of 1 in a million proportions. She's not a big person, but she is just the athleticism is superhuman with Bianca Belair. Like it just is. It's incredible. It blows me away, quite frankly. But her husband Montez, he's pretty into it as well. So it's But I must say Raquel Gonzalez is still an incredible athlete. But if you comparing anyone to Bianca Belair, they're going to come up short.
I've also been called a freak of nature by people in the past, but probably not for the same reason as Bianca Belair is.
And I don't mean any disrespect by that. I mean that in
no, I know you mean it in the greatest sense. Different strange question, and this might be get lost a little bit in the US, UK if anyone's watching, because I know you do have Americans watching, or people from other countries are watching. BT Sport, which is what we watch SmackDown and the rest of WWE's content on, it is now kind of announcing a lot more recently about their name change. It's coming up in July, and they're moving to be called TNT Sports. Now, the reason why it's changing is because the parent company that owns it is is WB Discovery, which is Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, to add a layer of interest into that, that's the same company that is about to announce apparently $1 billion deal with AEW in the States. Meaning things are about to get very interesting in terms of rights across here, because I'd imagine, and this is just me spitballing, I'd imagine the Warner Brothers Discovery is going to want to tie in all rights internationally where they can.
Yeah.
So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could see AEW and WWE both on what will then be called TNT Sports. I don't know if anyone else has heard this or got any theories.
Same thought. Yeah, I've had the same thought, and I'm. This is the boring aspect of our job, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
who owns what?
It's fascinating though, because
yeah, I suppose.
AEW's made a big point about being the most watched wrestling promotion in the UK because they're on ITV4. And again, for anyone who's not in the UK, ITV4 is free to air, so anyone who has a TV can watch that. I'm not going to talk about TV license because it gets a little bit confusing. Yes, we have to pay for the privilege of watching a TV before we pay for any subscription services.
But the caveat to that is, folks, it's because that's state funded. It's paid for with a TV license, which you don't have to pay if you don't want to. But it pays for things like the BBC, impartial journalism. It pays for things like Doctor Who and much beloved programming, and it keeps corporations out of journalism and things like that. I pay my TV license gladly for that. As a journalist, I that is really important to me. But yeah,
anyone who wants to watch colour TV has to pay live TV. I should say you can get around it by watching black and white TV, or you can do it by not watching things live. So you can watch streaming services such as BT by not actually no, because it'd be live TV. So it has to be something like Netflix that you could watch. As we're back in action here, so we will stop our UK TV talk as we're back into tag action.
You're right, though, mate. It is an interesting point because if we look at the American rights system, where it's on Fox on one channel and it's on USA, and I believe USA is owned by what they called NBC, is it? Which is owned by Comcast. So it's not an issue there. It's only an issue, this AEW stuff, when we get into the UK and the European market. That's where the waters start being muddied. Correct me if I ever get anything wrong. But so my only feeling is either that both companies just ignore it and it is what it is, or WWE ends its relationship with BT and therefore Warner Brothers, because they're only using them as distribution rights, and they could, in theory, go back to their previous partner, which was Sky. And I forget who B Sky B is owned by these days. Sorry, guys. We find it fascinating, but this is the boring aspect of wrestling journalism. Who owns what and all that crap? You should have seen it when WWE was up for sale. My God, it was excruciating, just like that move.
Yeah, so sorry, you might have seen my face wincing, not at anything that Sam was saying, but we did have a sort of tag team move where Bailey was holding Liv, and Dakota kind of came off the top rope for what looked like a sort of meteor or stomp, and looked like she kind of hyperextended her knee. She fell very heavily on her knee. I think it might have been a sell, but it was very, very good. As we see Liv with the quick pin.
Yeah, but what happened before that? Bailey pushed Io off the rope.
Yeah. So as Cole's explained, it's a bit of a backfire, the same it was at Backlash as well. So Bailey hit Io, as Misfit just said there. So they're kind of continuing that
Misfit's
little bit.
Loving
Run.
Yes, Misfit's loving everyone turning on him. Yeah,
yes, boys.
Misfit's enjoying. I've noticed with the cap locks is on Misfit when someone turns on someone. You're just here for the drama. Oh my God, here they are. The dandy highwayman, as they used to refer
Friday
to
night
themselves.
SmackDown, as they're calling it.
That's genius.
They call themselves Tasty Snacks, don't they?
Yeah. God, imagine being their girlfriends and watching them do this, and you'd be like, "What are you doing?" You know. But I love how the Brawling Brutes are just confused, mesmerized, like, "What are you?" I kind of wish they didn't change their names, though. I think the names are so corny that they've given them for the main roster. Like they were, I think they had better names before that on NXT, and then NXT UK, sorry, because the name change happened when they went to an NXT US, didn't it?
Elton Prince and Kit Wilson?
Yeah. See, they've already been in one segment, and I already want to see them get battered. Now that's good heel work. Bianca Belair Championship. This is heelish. This is some heelish stuff. Anyone?
Well, I'm presuming it's just someone's going interrupt to challenge.
She's giving, yeah, but she's giving herself a championship celebration after retaining at Backlash. That's Miz levels of heelishness. You know, they are defo turning Bianca. I think they might do it here.
So I'm just looking at what their names were before in Pretty Deadly. Was it Kit? It was Kit Wilson and Sam Stoker.
Sam Stoker and Lewis Howley, I believe it was. I could be wrong. That's my lizard brain kicking in.
It was definitely. I feel. Yeah, that might be right actually. Yeah, because Lewis Howley / Elton Prince, Sammy Smooth / Sam Stoker / Kit Wilson. So
the Kit Wilson. Yeah, the Kit Wilson and Elton Prince now, and before that they were Howley, and
Sam Stoker.
And Stoker. Yeah, they call themselves Howley because that means some idiot. It's like an unwelcome surfer, someone who's never done surfing before, who comes to a surfing spot and just gets in the way. I think that's what Howley means. I believe my friend in Fort Lauderdale explained that to me.
All the facts tonight, guys. I don't think we've ever had such a fact in a music-ridden SmackDown stream before.
I know, yeah. I'm amazed that memory remains. That's another Metallica song. It's I don't know what's fueling me this evening, but I don't know. Perhaps I'm just the hero of the day. I'll stop now. No more.
Do you have Spotify?
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
You know when you just put on like a random song and then it goes off on like it will just do its own thing, and then you end up listening to something really random because I don't know how the algorithm works. Sometimes you'd think it would lock on to like a genre or something. I swear I was listening to like an 80s song, and then all of a sudden I ended up listening to Just Like Jesse James by Cher, which is a great song, and now I've had it stuck in my head for the last 2 or 3 days.
Oh, so because Jess and I don't want to pay for 2 separate Spotify accounts, we have just one Spotify account, and we both share it, and it works quite well. But every now and then, like she'll be in the gym, and she'll be listening to her crap, which I have no idea what it is. Or I have seen her gym playlist, but hang on, and this is what came on the other day. If I can't read this out, I'll censor it. But where did I put this? Did I put this on the? No, that's Ant.
Oh, just where it came up with
Head PE.
Head PE, yeah.
Who we saw on our first night in LA, didn't we, Andy? It was great. And it was funny because we didn't think we were going to make it, did we? We were absolutely, because of that flight, we were dying, folks. We had just been in a beautiful bar in the Rainbow Room. We'd had a lovely meal. It was so tasty. We had
Timber Beret or whatever you call them.
We saw tons of wrestlers in there, didn't we? We saw Dolph Ziggler walking past. Bully Ray stopped and said hello to us. That was lovely.
Frankie Kazarian was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, we had a little chat with Frankie Kazarian at the bar. That was nice. It was so cool. But basically, my point is, we were half dead by the time. Once we had a skinful of beer and food, and after that flight, we were all dead. But like Dom and Ant were like, "Come on, guys, Shall we have a crack and go and watch Head PE? $20 on the door. Come on, let's go and do it. And I was kind of thinking, I'm coming to go back to the hotel and sleep. I'm dying. But I didn't want to get in the way of anybody else's night. So we went. And by the time I had another beer and listened to a few tracks of them, I was wide awake again. Didn't need no caffeine. But yeah, so hang on, I'm trying to find the song.
To be fair, you wanted to be wide awake because if you weren't on your toes, there was that mosh pit was getting a bit big and a bit lively, so you had to kind of be ready for someone shoving into you.
Yeah, I remember thinking, "Oh, please don't! I don't want to get into a fight tonight. I haven't got that. I can't be bothered. Not my first night in America. First night in America for a while. No, I don't know where I put it. I'm trying to find it. I will find it because it was funny.
Bianca Belair being introduced as the longest reigning modern women's champion.
Still a bit heelish, though, isn't it?
I'm also not sure about that because I'm pretty sure Kaylee Ray's had the belt in NXT UK. Are we just wiping that now? Are we?
Oh yeah, NXT UK never counted, mate. Never. NXT doesn't count. Never mind. NXT UK, like.
Yeah, because Mandy Rose had a fair long stint with the NXT belt as well. To be fair.
Oh yeah, but if you say that to WWE, it's la 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 Mandy who la 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 la. So yeah, and again, and to be fair to Mandy, I know she's been on the main roster, but like Bianca's one of their biggest female stars at this moment in time. Although this all feels very heelish.
Also, can I just say that there is a reason why they're doing this is because she's in her hometown. They're in Knoxville, which is where she's from. So that's why there's orange and white because it's I believe it's the colours of their college team or something.
The Rocky Tops or something, I don't know.
but yeah, I'm presuming that we're having this celebration because she's in her hometown. But she's instantly getting interrupted. It's not even started yet.
Good. Yeah, I can't read the name. I can't read.
It's Oscar.
Oh, Misfit. You might have called it, mate. You might have called it. Oh, she doesn't have that tune anymore, does she? She's another one. Yeah. So anyway, Jess is in the gym.
She's getting spat on here, by the way, 100%.
She's listening to her whatever crap she's listening to, and all of a sudden, "Respect the Republic" comes on. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's getting misted. Yeah, called it. You called it. So there's me.
She was obviously chewing on something and keeping her mouth closed for a reason.
Yeah. Is this again? I actually thought this is all very heelish of Bianca, but I'm starting to think the whole trope about baby faces being stupid. Well, Bianca, I mean, yeah.
Bianca is selling the hell out of this, by the way.
So yeah,
she's got it full on the face.
She looks like a zombie with all the green. She's going to get up and start. Right now, she's overselling.
She's sat on the floor, but sort of managing to jump up and down at the same time. It was quite impressive. I'm just going to say this as we go to another ad break before we see the final match of the night, which is the semis of the tournament between Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles. I'm not a fan of Oscar. Like even there, what was that about in terms of the way that they did that? She came out, she jumped around a little bit like insanely, but was dressed very peculiarly.
I think that was the point.
I don't know. I don't get it because like they've never actually made her into a heel or a face.
Well, I think that was what she did there. That was like since they brought her back as they're bringing her back as they're trying to make her Kana from Stardom. They're trying to, which is great, which is a great idea. And when they did that at the Rumble, I was super into it. But they didn't really capitalize on it at WrestleMania. and they never turned anybody. They had a tweener and a baby face in that match. And all right, not Stardom Misfit, whoever it was, mate. Blimey. But not, you know who I mean. I was going to say, I think people forget it's 2:45 here when we do this, guys. So you're going to have to forgive us if our memories aren't encyclopedic. But yeah, blimey. Yeah, so they didn't capitalize on it. But I think the whole point with that outfit is she was being understated. You know, it was a case of, here I am, I'm in casuals, I'm innocuous. But the crowd are turning on Bianca Belair, and it's not just the guys in Puerto Rico, because I'm feeling it too.
To me, that makes it a little bit more awkward then, because that won't work outside of Knoxville, because all that's going to happen is, I'm glad she got misted, because she's gone a bit stale. So it's kind of like next place they go, they'll be in trouble again.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's I'm just of the view that, like, because the issue they've got now is, even if they turn Bianca and they lean into the crowd, she's up against. They've just kind of cemented a heel turn for Asuka, suggesting that they want Bianca to be a face. They need to make a decision what they're doing here.
So I was just looking at, Kano was on Reina Joshi, Wrestling New Classic, Smash, Pro Wrestling Wave.
Yeah, I was confusing her with someone else.
I mean,
but,
to be honest,
I knew what I meant.
Yes, I would have said Stardom as well, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, call blimey, you know, I've got. There's only so much wrestling I can watch with everything I do. I'm afraid, guys. Forgive me. And there's only so many wikis I control with everything I have to do as well. So forgive me.
You do it very well. But thank you for fact checking us, keeping us on the right path at 2:43 in the morning,
which is when we need it. It's Gunther. Oh baby. Battle Royal to determine the number one. I'm game. I'm game for that. I mean, I'll look forward to that. Oh, there's Becky smacking Trish. I must still be behind you a bit.
Bianca's still selling it.
Oh, for God's sake. Give over. Yes, you bash that towel. That's going to help.
Oh, next week on SmackDown, we're going to get a face-to-face between the tag champions and Roman and Solo.
Oh, I am game.
We're also going to get LWO versus the Bloodline. So we're going to get the Usos versus Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. And if that's not enough, you're also going to get the Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly. Some big tag team action going on next week.
Yeah. That's it.
Yes, boys.
We have to do it. Every time you say yes, boys, we have to go, woo.
And we're getting the Grayson Waller effect. Next week is already a stacked show.
It's a lot of tags, though. It's a lot of tag teams.
I love it. Tag team wrestling making a renaissance.
You can tell Vince isn't fully in control anymore. Special guest AJ or Lashley.
So whoever wins this is going on it, I believe.
I see what they're doing. I like it.
I do like it until you then think about the longevity. Does that mean you'll end up facing them and getting squashed by whoever wins?
I hope not. I would love it if, obviously, it's going to lead to a match between whoever he talks to. I would love it if he just cheats to win. That'd be enough, because it protects the babyface, makes him look like a sniveling heel, which is what he is, but also protects him, because the sniveling heel getting a win protects both people, in my view, because the heel gets the win, they're protected, but I don't know if you can still hear me, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're back on.
Oh, good. Did I just vanish for a moment?
I think we both did. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. Right then. Anyway, let's just. My stream died as well. My SmackDown stream. I was looking forward to this match. Let's get it back on.
They haven't quite up to, so you're still okay. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting if you had maybe like a Seth Rollins distraction where he comes to out to kind of get a closer look, and Grayson Waller gets a victory from there or something.
That's a really Rollins thing to do, isn't it? To
sing my song and then just crack on.
Yeah. Just comes out and sits at the announce desk, doesn't talk, just puts his feet up on the table and starts conducting the audience. That'd be great. What the hell was that about on the Raw after Mania when he just came out, conducted the crowd, and buggered off? I don't know how that looked on TV, but those of us in the live crowd were so confused.
Well, apparently got cut short, didn't it? He got
he got snipped, didn't he?
I still I was talking to one of my good friends about this because he was waxing lyrical about how excited he was for SmackDown tonight, and for good reason because it's been a great show. But he was saying that he's fully loves the fact that the dirt sheets were kind of wrong, and that Vince doesn't seem to have too much to do with it, and it's still very good. And I remember I didn't go to the Raw after Mania, and I flew back instead while it was happening. And then as I turned my phone back on when I got to Heathrow, I just got a string of messages off of a lot of different people saying how absolutely abhorrent Raw was, and how turgid the whole night had been. And I must admit, I had my smug face on, knowing that I made the right decision not to go.
I think turgid, good word. But have you ever considered writing for a living, being a wordsmith? But yeah,
have been told.
So look, when I was there, I'll do the poll in a minute, guys. I've done the banner. I'm in mid flow. I had a good time at that show. Some of the boys weren't quite as enamored. I was just happy to be there, really. And the Brock turning on Cody thing, I swear to God, that got the audience. It got them. Because me and Ant, I was sat next to Ant, and we were saying, this is pretty cool. We've never seen a match like this before. Cody and Brock versus Roman and Solo. I mean, we were like, I'm game for this for a main event. Are you? And he was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then I was sat next to Martin on the other side, and Martin says to me, this is the first, he's a bit like Misfit. He's got all the stats and the dates. And he was like, this is the Brock's first match on Raw since XYZ. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Then it's quite historic that we're here. This is pretty cool. And then that happened. And it got everyone. I don't know if it got people at home on TV, but it got the live crowd. There was silence. We're not talking Undertaker getting the streak ending silence, but we're talking an audible pause in the noise for a minute when everyone just went.
Yeah.
And for some people, like there was a guy next to me who would be going absolutely nuts, cheering stuff. And he was furious. He was like, this has been the worst Raw I've ever seen. And I remember thinking, nah, he's exaggerated. But as I got out, and I started seeing those messages and seeing what the dirt sheets were saying and what social media was saying. I don't know about Dan, but Dom and Ant weren't especially enamored with it. All I could think was, well, it was quite fun. That Brock turn got me.
Yeah,
that's like but yeah, there was a lot of crap on that show.
It also, to be fair, what you were saying there ties in very nicely to some of the stuff I asked Sammy Callahan about, because I thought he'd have an opinion on it, and I was just looking over. I can give you a little bit of a sort of quote from it, and we do talk about the social media and how like people won't, like all the negativity that kind of goes on. And one thing he does say, he says, we allow ourselves to be too negative. Why do we talk about what we dislike? Why don't we just love what we love and allow people to love what they love and dislike?
That's an incredible point. That's an incredible. Sorry, mate. Yeah, that's an incredible point.
So even the talent themselves just want people just to enjoy what you want to enjoy. So if you enjoyed the Raw after WrestleMania and liked the whole Brock Lesnar thing, or found some things that you liked in it, then that's all that matters. Like the same can ever be said. Like might not be enjoying this SmackDown, and we're watching something that we are enjoying, and that's the beauty of professional wrestling. That you'll always find something that you like somewhere.
Do you know what? I was just happy, mate, that I was in LA after an awesome week of wrestling shows with my friends, watching a Raw live. That to me was enough, and I totally agree with Sammy Callahan there, because it's like I see sometimes other writers doing like the worst XXX of all time, and I'm like, dude, the hell? Why not? Why can't it be the best of all time? Why is it the most overrated blah blah blahs of all time? What's wrong with the most underrated? Why? That's just me. I don't know. And also about your Sammy Callahan interview again, as one of WrestleSphere's editors, is it on the back end?
Yeah.
So I could just go and read it like now if I wanted to. I won't do that.
Go watch it. Yeah, go watch it.
I won't do that. I'll wait for it to be published. I'll wait for it. I'll wait for Dom to click go live on it, and then I'll read it then.
I love Nomar's comment, by the way. Put some pointy ears on Elton Prince, and he's a ringer from an elf from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not being funny. Yeah, no, Omar, I was coming to that because it's the best, but I got distracted by Sassy telling me to do a poll, so I did that first. But yeah, he's got Legolas vibes, doesn't he? Completely Legolas vibes. And Misfits like saying that they were pumping in booze to Bianca, so even Knoxville is seemingly turning on Bianca as well, so it's worrying. And Hassan, mate, the vote is up, pal. Go and fill your boots. And Daniel's here. Daniel, better late than never, mate. 10 to 3 in the morning, better late than never. But I know you're a busy man with your training. I'm training too currently, so I feel your pain. Sassy saying, hey. So, yeah. And these two are just killing each other, aren't they? It's awesome.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley's busted open.
Open again.
Yeah, but I guess they probably didn't have enough time to properly stitch him. So
yeah,
might have had a staple or two put in. But the ref's got his black gloves on, so it's not good when they come out.
Yeah. There's a lot of this going around, isn't there? And I mean, just in WWE, like Lesnar got absolutely juiced to hell, didn't he, the other day?
Yes, yeah. Hard way as well, by the looks of it. You're more of a TNA Impact connoisseur than I am, or your knowledge is greater than mine. Have AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley had much of a rivalry over there?
Do you know what? I can't remember. I can't ever remember AJ and Lashley being top of the card at the same time in Impact, if that makes sense. I'm fairly sure there's been overlap between them, and I'm fairly sure that they've met in the ring. But it gets like sometimes it gets hazy remembering what was Ring of Honor, what was WWE, and what was TNA. I'm not gonna lie to you, it just does. But yeah, I did watch TNA from the very beginning until it evolved into Impact. Yeah, I've always been a fan. It kind of gave me my Attitude Era fix after the Attitude Era was over.
So I'm just having a look, and apparently, I'm not sure if it's. There's a lot of people saying they had the first time ever match on Raw back in August last year.
Oh really? There you go. Then I stand erected. Corrected.
Maybe it's a Mandela effect. I feel like I've seen it at some point in TNA, but
yeah, I do know they were never top of the card at the same time. I do know that much. It's like AJ was almost an era before Lashley. Lashley was there, but Lashley's era was kind of the more of the end of TNA, while before the Magnus McIntyre stuff was go after the Magnus McIntyre stuff. and then Lashley was the guy for a while until he went to WWE, and it kind of things got a bit hazy, and a bunch of people kind of took over. LA Knight as Eli Drake was the champ for a bit, then I forget. So Misfit saying Bianca already failed with a missed spot because the blue mist is supposed to put you to sleep. I blame WWE more than Bianca for that one. But they told her to flail around like a fish out of water, which is exactly what she did with gusto.
Was it blue? Was it not green? It's just the tone.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's true though. Different ones do different things. That was Muta's gimmick back in the day, or at least to anyone who was keeping track. I know I certainly wasn't until a friend told me once.
So running power slam by Lashley, almost got the 3 count there, but a very late shoulder up by AJ.
So thank you, Sassy. So AJ left shortly after Bobby arrived. Yeah, so the overlap was small. His best Lashley opponent was Scott Steiner. Oh yeah, I remember that. See, I'm not a Scott Steiner fan. I never have been. But see, I thought Lashley's best opponent was Moose. I enjoyed when Moose was a babyface. I really enjoyed them tangling because it was like, you know, only kings understand each other kind of thing. Yeah, Daniel, I've got my only tip is a guy who's been doing this on and off.
Hold on a second. We've got a phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles.
I'm happy with that. Can't argue with that. That'll be a hell of a main event. Not a main event, an event, a match.
I also think it leaves Bobby Lashley for Roman at some point down the line as well.
Oh, I'm into it. I'm into it. Daniel, in with some of your rest days, go swimming, then sit in the jacuzzi in the hot tub for a bit. That'll fix your sleep right up. That's what I do. If I'm ever putting the gloves on and bashing a thing around or another person, and I can just
going through Night of Champions card at the moment. We've got Brock versus Cody. We've got the tag match, which has been made official tonight. We'll see if that actually happens. Where Roman and Solo will go against the Sami and KO. And now we also have AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins for the currently, well, it's new, so I can't say it's vacated or anything like that, but the heavyweight championship. So, and we're seeing the OC come out and celebrating with AJ next to the championship.
I actually thought that was Bianca Belair then coming out to attack AJ. I honestly did. I
thought someone was jumping in, but then I realised it was Mia Yim.
Yeah.
Or Mishin, whatever she's going by at the moment. So that's the end of SmackDown.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great show. I've got no complaints. Apart from my only complaint actually is Bianca Belair like overacting. Other than that, that was cracking. But yeah,
so, do you want to go first? Do you want to do the honours of what would you give it as a grade?
I'll tell you something interesting before I do. Dan and Dom and me do the grading thing, but Ant doesn't do it. So, but we'll do it in the spirit of Dom, because Dom's not here. We will stick to the tradition and we will do the grading. So, I'll go first, then, if you like. I'm going to give that show a generous 9 out of 10 because I can't really find any fault with it. If I'm thinking about it, maybe I'm being too generous because it wasn't like super special, but as far as and 2 hours of television goes, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm giving it a 9. Match of the night, main event, just has to be. Performer of the night. I suppose it's got to be AJ Styles for winning 2 matches, doesn't it? But I also kind of want to give a shout out to Roman Reigns for being just incredible on the mic. But I think what was great about tonight is it reminded us of how good AJ Styles is and how we've slept on him for a little while because he hasn't done much. He wasn't at Mania. He got injured for a bit. But tonight, I think they rehabilitated AJ Styles. Even if he loses against Rollins, he can still hold his head up. That was just great. And am I forgetting anything? Great match, performer, anything else?
I think it's just 3, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, so there you go. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, if we're going out of 10, I would probably say 8.5, maybe 9, like getting up that way. I'd say match of night, I really enjoyed the first triple threat match, probably the best. Edge versus AJ versus Rey Mysterio, I thought was great, very fast paced. Bit of a shock after Edge suddenly became the favorite overnight after his promo, but be interesting to see where that leads him going in the future. Performer of the night, I probably would say Roman Reigns, because even though AJ's won both those matches and looked great in doing so, it just feels like a big deal when you see Roman. And as Nomar's just said, it's saying there, announcing him into that, he's twisting that knife into the Usos. It felt like it was stagnating, and just having Roman on instantly got people reacting. I can see social media is already going a little bit nuts about it, and people are like, "Wait a second, Sammy and KO can't go to Saudi. What's going on here?" So it gets you interested straight away. So they've done it very well. His ability just to, I don't know, just kind of get over, like, portray what that kind of drama side of things. He's so much better at it than he's ever been in his career, and he's earned his month and a bit off to come back, and he just did one promo and we're back on again. So
I kind of like it, though. I kind of like it. It builds heel heat, and scarcity creates value. So with Roman Reigns right now, it's exciting when his music hits and when he walks down. It's an event every time. Sorry, if he was on TV every week, it wouldn't be as special. It just wouldn't be.
It's diluted, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm for it, because a lot of people bitch about that. Oh, he's a part-timer. Well, to be fair to him, the guy beat cancer not so long ago. The guy's given you a lot over the years while you were all busy booing him. And also, like, he's a heel champion. He's top of the card. He holds 2 of the biggest belts in the company. And yeah, this is what big heel champs do. Lesnar did it. Everyone bitched about Lesnar as well, and quite rightly sometimes. But in this case, it's working with Roman. So just enjoy it. Just let feel the heat, feel the anger, boo him as loud as you can, and play the game. Let's just get through a couple of comments if I can, Andy. So Misfit saying it's face versus face. No one needs to turn heel. Just have 2 of the best performers battle for the world title. I agree completely. This is one of those matches where there doesn't need to be a heel. Just have 2 badasses doing what they do. I totally agree. Because I said before that there is sometimes face versus faces stuff I don't like. This isn't that. This I'm into.
It's an exhibition match at the end of the day, isn't it? Because if Seth wins, there's no storyline. That's it. Seth goes off and does his own thing. And if AJ wins, then you got the potential to have something afterwards. But for this match in particular, you don't need heel faces. It doesn't matter. Just have 2, as he said, 2 of the best performers in the world go at it, and give them 20 minutes. Go put on an absolute classic.
And they did say it needs to be a babyface champion who's going to defend it, and we've got that now. So there's no risk of it being. There's absolutely no risk of it being a heel or anything like that. And so Norma is saying, enjoy it, AJ. The belt is Seth's. I kind of agree, because I think it's going on Raw. And is AJ a SmackDown guy? Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I think all that would happen is that AJ would just get moved across to SmackDown.
But I think Norma's right. I think Seth's getting this. I think Seth was always getting this. Maybe I'm wrong.
But I think over the next 2 weeks until we get to the pay-per-view, I think they'll plant the seed as much as possible to suggest that it won't be that straightforward. But yeah, I think so.
See, because I'd be happy with either one of them winning. I'm a massive fan of both guys. Prince Ali, handsome is he, says fantastic week of pro wrestling. I agree, mate. I think honestly, I enjoyed Dynamite, I enjoyed Ring of Honor, I enjoyed Impact, and I enjoyed Raw. And I watch NXT tomorrow. But so far, I've had a wicked wrestling week. Really, really good. Sassy saying she agrees. Sassy agrees with you, Andy. 8.5. Performer AJ.
Sorry, what I didn't say, by the way, and I think she's pretty much agreed with everything. Sassy's agreed with everything. Sorry, there apart from performer. The thing I really liked and what got it to 8.5 is the introduction of a lot of new people. Like you didn't not over the top. You had one match which really was over within seconds for Cameron Grimes, and that was exactly what it needs to be because he was against Baron Corbin, and it makes him look very good coming out the back of it, getting a victory within seconds. And you've introduced a little bit of a backstage skit, which is what Pretty Deadly are very good at. So yeah, just all those little bits and pieces, getting Grayson Waller on next week, and he's like even had a little bit of a thing tonight. You've got the Alba and Isla having their like little kind of watching on TV to see what's going on with the tag championship. So yeah, I don't think they missed anyone that was called up for SmackDown.
Yeah, they did well. They did really well. And do you know what I like? I feel like there was a lot of now putting aside any allegations about Vince McMahon here. What I'm going to say before someone jumps and says, "Yeah, but what about this?" I'm just looking at it in the context of a wrestling show here. If it turns out he's done that, then screw him completely. But at this moment in time, I feel like look, when Triple H took over, I was super happy, and I have been ever since. And I was a little bit apprehensive when Vince did his hostile takeover and used his stock to get back in. Now we're in a situation where they've got a new owner, which is the parent company of UFC, of course, Endeavor. Because people are under the impression that UFC has bought WWE and are merging them into one brand. And no. They're creating another parent company that owns and operates both companies, and there is likely to be overlap. That is what's going on here. They're not making WWE UFC. These will always be two very separate sports, two very separate brands, if you like. They like the idea of being some overlap and some connecting tissue, which makes all the sense in the world. But anyway, so I'm kind of, again, worried about Vince coming back. But at the moment, apart from a couple of little things, it's been all right. A few issues at the start, but so far so good. Like this week, I'm not as worried as I was. I feel like Endeavor breathing down Vince's neck stops him breathing too much down Tripp's neck. You can very much tell this is still very much a Triple H era, a Triple H show. And this might be an unpopular opinion. I think you'll agree, Andy, but say what you want about Vince McMahon, and he's not good anymore. He's not good at booking stuff anymore. He's just not. He forgets everything and blah, blah, blah. But having his wisdom, having his experience isn't a bad thing. Just having him be the overall decision maker is a terrible thing. So right now, I feel like they have got a bit of a dream team there. But again, like I said, if the allegations about Vince turn out to be true, he's got to go again. Got to go completely.
Yeah, I think there's Triple H, or as he goes by now as Paul Levesque. He's a savvy guy. He knows what he's doing. And I think anyone in that situation, and if it was me in that situation, there are ways to manage your manager. So basically what you do is you throw them an easy, you toss them up a little bit of a softball just to let them knock it out. It'll feel like they've knocked out the park. So you're like, oh, hey boss, I'm not really sure what I should do with Omos. And then let him book that. And then, like he feels like he's involved while keeping him well away from the stuff that actually matters.
Yes.
So like, if he kind of does that, it's not a bad thing. And at the end of the day, Vince has created helped create some of the biggest characters in wrestling and some of the biggest angles. So,
he's the reason we're fans. He's the reason you and I are both fans.
Yeah, if it's possible to keep the other stuff away from it, which I think it's becoming more and more difficult to do so, then keep that out of it, and you go, well, he is where he is for a reason, and the company is where it is for a reason. But I think if you had these two shows as the shows that were after WrestleMania, I think there would be very few concerning voices at the moment, because this is the Raw that was just happened and the SmackDown that we just watched now. They're what I expected to happen after WrestleMania.
Yes, me too. Yeah, I feel like they've gone the long way round, haven't they? A little bit.
Yes, I think they got caught out with Backlash being where it was, and the draft where it was, and the belt being where it was. All of that could have happened straight after Mania, and people would have probably been like, "Yeah, fair enough."
Just to change the subject a little bit, do you think Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were underutilized tonight? I know we saw them backstage giggling at the tag team match, but would you have liked to see them do more, get more involved, maybe have a bit of a segment or like a video package or something? Because we only saw them for like a second, didn't we?
Not really. We saw a couple of glimpses of them watching on the doing their weird sideways watching TV thing that was going on, that they only ever seem to do in wrestling. But the thing is with that, if you've done that, you kind of take away from the women's tag match was there. So either you did what they did tonight and just have them as some sort of appearance, or they cost Damage Control and they go into an instant feud with them. I don't know what the plan is. Maybe they're looking to potentially unify the women's tag belts or something. So maybe that's why they kind of still had them on their shoulders, or maybe they'll just go back and they'll lose them to a team down on NXT. But it's a strange one. At the moment, NXT is concentrating on crowning a new women's champion, so there's a lot kind of going on there. So give them some time. Yeah, give them some time. Otherwise, it's overbooking shows for no reason.
Agreed. Yeah, you're right there. I never thought of that. Yeah, because I've had the same thought. There's obviously something in the works. Let's trust the process, as I say.
Yeah, we've got Battleground as well, by the way, because in 2 weeks, like need anyone be reminded? 2 weeks is looking like a packed weekend of wrestling, because you've got is it Under Siege, which is Impact on Friday, and the SmackDown, which I would believe would be taped because they'll be flying across to Saudi, but unless they're doing it from Saudi, I'm not sure. And then you've got the Saudi show, which is the Night of Champions on Saturday. Then on Sunday, you've got NXT. Have got Battleground, which is one of their bigger events. And then after that, you've also got is it Double or Nothing for AEW?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's crazy. It's bloody nuts. Right then, guys. If nobody minds, I think it's time for me and Andy to go and crawl into bed next to our spouses, who probably have forgotten we exist and forgotten our names and what our faces look like, which is probably for the best on my part anyway. But anyway, yeah, Andy, thank you for joining me. It would have been a long night without you. It would have been, I'll tell you that. Or even though it was a good show. So I'm going to do what you do on Wrestling Royalty and fluff the landing with the outro video because I always do it as well, if it makes you feel any better. But yeah, and the last poll, by the way, was 50-50, which is cool, between Lashley and AJ. So I like that. I feel justified in wanting Lashley now, but I'm happy with that result. That's going to be, especially if Lashley's going up against Roman. I'm really into it all. Right then, guys. So thank you very much. I'm just going to pick a video for everybody because we didn't have an intro tonight. So Dom is going to tell me off for that nicely, but it is what it is. We had a bit of trouble at the start with banners and stuff, didn't we? So let's have a look. Who do we want for an outro?
While Sam's picking his outro, remember to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Gimme a Hole, if you haven't already. It's very nice that you come and watch us. It'd be even nicer if you click that subscribe button, click the like button. Appreciate all the comments. Go also like and subscribe to all the WrestleSphere channels on social media. And if you'd be so kind, go find Wrestling Royalty in my channel and follow me on Twitter for more information. And remember, you've got some great interviews over on WrestleSphere. You've got the Sami Callihan interview is going to be dropping, I would imagine, within the next couple of days, which is a great watch. So I hope you enjoy it. And I'm sure by now Sam's picked his outro. So I'll sign off by saying it's been a pleasure spending my Friday evening / Saturday morning with you all.
I can't wait to go to the gym. I might have a nice sleep. and go for a swim instead of doing any iron. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Right then, guys, because we miss him and we've discussed him tonight, we are going to hear from the one, the only Big E. See you later, guys. And here's what Dom loves us to do. Oh, yeah.
This is Big E from the New Day. Give me that hole, yeah. Give it to me. I need it.